本日はコファスジャパンカントリーリスクコンファレンス2016にお越しいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。それでは始めてまいりますが、まずはじめにコファスジャパン信用保険会社日本における代表者でありますSUCHI Yoshihiroより皆様にご挨拶申し上げます。
皆さんこんにちは。コファスジャパン信用保険会社のSUCHIと申します。よろしくお願いします。主催者として一言、ご挨拶を申し上げます。本日は、お忙しい中、コファスジャパンカントリーリスクカンファレンス2016年に、お越しいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。この、カントリーリスクカンファレンスはですね、日本で行うのは、6年ぶりということになります。で通常はですね、私どもの本社がありますパリで1月の下旬ぐらいに行いましてですね、その後世界各地を回ってですね、ちょうどこの時期11月の上旬ぐらいにアジアで行うというようなものです。諸事情があって日本では6年ほど開催できなかったわけですけれども、昨年私がコファースジャパンの代表に就任しまして、ぜひこのカントリーズカンファレンスをですね再開させたいというふうに思っておりましたし、私の周りのスタッフもですねぜひ再開したいということで、やっと実現したかなというふうに思っています。私どもはですね取引信用保険という単品の商品を扱っている保険会社であります。おそらくですね多くの方が取引信用保険は何かということはご存知だと思いますけれども、お客様の売掛債権ですね、これが回収不能になった時の損失をカバーする保険であります。ただ一方、私どもは情報提供の会社でもあります。例えばミクロ的なことですね。これで言いますと200カ国にわたってですね8000万社の会社のデータベースを私どもは持っております。でこのデータベースに基づいて日々引き受けを行ったり、あるいはお客様に情報を提供させていただいたりということをしています。またマクロ的にはですね、今日こうやって開かせていただいてますけれども、カントリーリスクカンファレンスであったり、あと四半期ごとにですねカントリーリスクの格付けというものを行っていたり、あと定期不定期にはなりますけれどもさまざまな出版物を出してお客様に読んでいただいたりということをしております。例えば最近で言いますと、まさに今日ですけれどもアメリカの大統領選の影響というような出版物も出しております。保険というとですね、多分皆様も契約が個人でもあるでしょうし会社でもあると思うんですけれども、なかなかその保険事故があったり、あるいは保険金を受け取るというようなことがない限りは、何かサービスを受けてないんじゃないかなっていうふうに実感されることが多いんじゃないかというふうに思っています。ただ、保険会社の立場から言うとですね、いただいた保険料を通じて何かあったときは保険金をお支払いすると、要するにリスクヘッジのサービスというものを提供しているということなので、皆様方が何もサービスを受けてないということではないんですよね。ただ目に見えないのでなかなかサービスを受けているという実感はないのかなというふうに思っています。ただ、私どもコファースはそういったリスクヘッジのサービスというものに加えてですね、今まで申し上げましたように情報提供というサービスを保険料をいただいたお客様に行っております。でここがですね他の保険会社と一番違うところ、差別化できる点かなというふうに思っています。今日は4時間というですね若干長丁場です。ただいろんな方がですね、いろんなスピーカーの方がいろんなトピックについてお話をいただきますので、きっと皆様方のお役に立てるようなものもあるんじゃないかなというふうに思っています。今後ともコファースジャパンあるいはコファースをぜひともよろしくお願いいたします。簡単ではありますがご挨拶とさせていただきます。ありがとうございました。
ご清聴ありがとうございました。本日は在日フランス大使館の経済公使でいらっしゃいますピエール・ムルルヴァ様にお越しいただいております。ムルルヴァ様から歓迎のご挨拶を頂戴いたします。お願いします。
こんにちは。 My name is Pierre Mourlevat. I'm a Minister Counselor for Economic Affairs at the French Embassy. So, dear Mr. Durand, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I'm very honored to open this important seminar on risk management from Coface. And I would like today to give some words about the importance of the economic relation between Japan and France, and also to explain some important policy we are developing with the Japanese government in order to reinforce our economic relations. On the first point, I would like to focus on the French-Japanese relationship, which is already very close, and I would like to give you as an example some figures. The global volume of the trade between France and Japan is around 15 billion euro per year. That means the French export to Japan is between 6 and 8 billion euro. That depends on the year. Last year it was 6.3 billion euro. So we are in average between 6 and 8 billion, which is very important. The majority of our export to Japan is still consumer goods, all kinds of consumer goods, agro products, but also perfume, drugs, any kinds of other consumer goods. But recent trends show that there are more and more big contracts like airplane from Airbus sold to ANA and the JAL, for instance. So the trend is very dynamic and very increasing of our exports. I would like also to stress that France is the third foreign investor in Japan after the United States, the first one, the Netherlands, the second one. And if we consider the stock of the French investment in Japan, it is 28 billion euro, which is very huge. And it includes a lot of industrial investment, mostly in joint venture with Japanese company, but also research center from some big French company, and in some cases those research and development center in Japan are doing research in Japan for the world, for all the activities of the group in the world. And the French investments in Japan are also, a third category, is the setting up of a subsidiary in Japan to work with Japanese partners in third country, in Asia, in Australia and New Zealand, and so on. So that means that establishing a basis, industrial or research or subsidiary in Japan is now of strategical importance for the French industry in general. And if we consider now the presence of the Japanese economy in France, the export of Japan to France is each year around at 8 billion euro. So, of course, a lot of car components, a lot of electrical appliances, electrical industries. And the Japanese investments in France are also extremely important. It is around 15 billion euros. And I would like also to say that France, the French company, employs in Japan 70,000 people, and it is exactly the same number of the employees of the Japanese companies in France. So those figures show the importance of our economic relation. So I would also, staying a little bit on that issue of the economic relation between France and Japan and how we treat the Japanese investment in France, I just would like to stress the importance we give to creating a good environment in France for the Japanese investment. So the French government has taken a lot of reforms in order to create a good environment. First of all, we develop a more and more soundness of the public accounts in France. The deficit of the budget, the public budget, is now at around 3% of the GDP and will decrease every year in the future. In 2017, it should be 2.7%. So the trend is very positive. And second, we spend a lot of money in research and in education. 6% of the French GDP is devoted to education, which contribute to make the productivity in France one of the highest in Europe. And a third category of measure we are developing in France to create a good environment for your investment is specific fiscal tax incentive to foreign investors. And I would like just to give an example about the corporate tax. The corporate tax in France is declining gradually. It was 30% 4 years ago. Now it's going to 28%, which is the average of the whole EU. So the environment is more and more attractive, and maybe that's why France is number one in Europe regarding the creation of new companies, the new founded businesses. If we compare France with Europe, we are the number one in Europe. So now I would like to answer the question: what can we do between the French government and the Japanese governments to support the development of our economic relation? I would like to give you two examples of two policies which are managed at a very political level, which is the first one is the policy in favor of innovation, and the second one is the cooperation in Africa. The first one, both policies have been decided at the highest level by both prime ministers. The French prime minister visited Japan at the beginning of October 2015, and he signed two agreements with the Japanese prime minister, Mr. Shinzo Abe, on those policy. The first one is dedicated to foster partnership between French and Japanese companies in the field of technological innovation. So that's why 2016 has been nominated as the French-Japanese Year for Innovation. What does it mean? It means that through official visits, through delegation of the French company to Japan, to specific seminars, we would like to connect more the French startup, the French university teacher and researcher with the Japanese ecosystem of innovation in order to create joint research or to create joint partnership between startup or French startup with a big Japanese company or French startup and Japanese startup. And we are trying to improve the financing of those partnerships. There is already an agreement between the Japanese agency NEDO and the French Public Bank for Investment to co-finance joint venture on startup, and we would like to enlarge this kind of agreement. The second policy is the French-Japanese cooperation toward Africa, which is a plan dedicated to join our financing the French soft loan, the French treasury loan, the French export credit loan, and the Japanese financing on big projects in Africa with Japanese company and French company, and especially on huge projects which requires a very, very important financing, and on which one country alone, France alone or Japan alone, cannot do all. So those projects could be an alliance between the Japanese Sogososha and the French company which has a technical expertise, with the financing of the JICA plus the French Agency for Development. So we are developing this kind of project with the strong support of both governments. So the pilot projects are in the city of Abidjan, especially on public transportation, with a master plan financed by the JICA and a lot of French and Japanese companies which are working together. And I would like just to stress that at the last TICAD in August in Nairobi, the big event, on Africa organized by the Japanese government, the French Agency for Development and the JICA signed a MOU on their cooperation in the city of Abidjan. So we are extremely open to continue and to extend this kind of partnership. To conclude, I would like to mention, to stress that France and Japan have now a very strong economic cooperation. Our relationship is thriving away. We hope that the negotiation of free trade agreements, of specific partnership between the EU and Japan, which are going well, which are making a lot of progress, could also give a positive framework for the development of our trade relation. So I would like to conclude with these words, and I would like also to stress that the dynamism of Coface in Japan over the recent years reflects the dynamic of the global economic partnership between France and Japan. So I would like to wish you a very fruitful seminar, and I thank you very much for your attention. Arigatou gozaimashita.
在日フランス大使館の経済公使でいらっしゃいますピエール・ムルルヴァ様よりご挨拶いただきました。続きましてコファスの CEO ザビエ・デュランから開会の言葉です。ではお願いします。
Thank you very much, and apologies for doing this in English. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today in Japan. As some of you may know, I have lived in Japan for 3 years myself, and I had the privilege of coming to this country 3 days before the earthquake in 2011, and as you can imagine, it has left a very strong impression on me. I'm particularly proud of what Coface has achieved so far. I was appointed as CEO of Coface 8 months ago, after a career which took me to lead businesses in 30 countries around the world. And I think that has been particularly a good preparation for leading Coface. I'll say a few words about Coface, what Coface does, what Coface is, and I apologize if I'm repeating things that you already know for those of you who are in this industry. Coface is a company that was created 70 years ago. It has been a pioneer in the credit insurance industry. Today, Coface has employees in 70 countries. It has 50,000 clients in 100 countries around the world. And we take credit risk in companies in 200 countries around the world. So it is clearly, I think, one of the most global companies that exist today. Coface has been a pioneer in expanding the credit insurance industry outside of where it started, which is Western Europe. I believe today that Coface is the most global of all credit insurers around the world. Historically, it started as the French ECA, so Export Credit Agency, and then it expanded its business to the private sector. Today, 97% of what we do is with the private sector, and we still have, for a few months only, the privilege of operating the French credit agency business. That will be ended at the end of this year when it will transfer back to the French Public Bank of Investment. And Coface will continue its journey as a purely private credit insurance company focused on partnering with its global clients and helping them manage what today is a very complicated credit world. So what does Coface do? First of all, Coface has 1,000 employees that in all over the world, 24/7, monitor the credit worthiness of companies, of millions of companies, actually 18 million companies all over the world. We do this through 45 centers of information gathering and enhancement. And this is the foundation of everything we do. So we, I think, today have the best global database of credit data for companies around the world. Based on this, we help our clients monitor the risk that they take when they sell goods or services to other parties in other parts of the world. We gather information, structure information, we enhance this information with people who call or go and visit these companies, and then we give these companies a rating. And then because we believe in that rating, we actually insure people against the risk that they take when they sell goods to these companies. And then part of what we do is providing that insurance, but also part of what we do is providing the notice and the flow of information when these credit conditions change. That's why we monitor this risk 24/7 all around the year. Finally, if something goes wrong and we end up having a claim, then we have an organization that is able to go and collect on these overdue accounts. We do that in 200 countries around the world. And very often for a client, it is actually very helpful to be able to rely on a company like us because it is not very pleasant to go and ask one of your clients for money when you know that you're going to have to continue to do business with them over a long period of time. So our offering is all-encompassing, from providing information to ensuring trade flows to, in the end, collecting on overdue monies. We have just announced a new plan for Coface, which relies on a few things. First of all, building on this heritage of global presence, we are continuing to reinforce our information and risk analytics capabilities all over the world, particularly in emerging markets. Second, we are working more and more to digitize our processes and focusing on client service, speed, quality, accuracy, and cost. And finally, we are expanding our business in a way to create more value for our clients and for ourselves. As you are aware, after the global financial crisis, the Western economies, the developed economies, have taken time to recover. Growth has slowed. It's been particularly long to recover in Europe. I think in Japan, you all know what the economic situation is with limited growth. So we've had the developed economies see very limited growth since the global crisis. What has happened, though, in the last couple of years is that the emerging markets, which had been performing quite well through the crisis, have started to see a slowdown. And that slowdown has actually been quite long and quite painful, and it's been driven also, and particularly by what's happened in the commodities sector with a significant drop in oil prices and all commodities and related industries being impacted severely. I believe also that, so you have less growth and you have more risk volatility, particularly in emerging markets. I also believe there is a rise of political risk. We will know tomorrow who won the elections in the US, but Spain hasn't had a government for a long time. Italy is facing some pretty significant political challenges over the next few months. France is having a major election next year. Germany will have some. And we see the rise of populism and a challenge to democracies all over the world, in Asia, in the Middle East, in Europe, and in the US. So I think the world has become more complicated to navigate. There is growth, but there is risk, and that justifies what Coface does even more than before. So I'm a true believer that we have a great future, and there's a lot of need for the kinds of services that we are able to propose. Now, when it comes to Japan, this is a market which actually is very dear to me, and a market where I think we could do a lot more. As a matter of reference, only 5% of all the trade receivables around the world are insured. That gives you an idea of how much potential there is for this industry. This industry provides services that are pertinent to very large corporations, but also to medium-sized companies. It works for industrial companies exchanging goods, but we can also be a very good partner for financial institutions that are looking to securitize or to purchase receivables all over the world and to insure them. So the market potential is very strong. In Japan, this is a very big market, very stable economy, with a very strong export sector. I believe we could do a lot more. Today, Coface is the largest credit insurer in Japan after NEXI, the state agency, but much ahead of its other competitors. Our ambition is to grow Coface, and I think this is why we decided this year to renew with the tradition of a country risk conference in Japan. We do these every year in France because we are headquartered in Paris. It brings together thousands of people and some very prominent speakers, and we wanted to make sure that we renewed with the tradition of doing it here for this market, for all of you that are present. So that's essentially what I wanted to talk about. Part of what we do also is to very carefully scrutinize the economy. We have a team of economists that is led by Julien Marcilly, who is here in this room. And these economists are spread all over the world, and their job is to alert us on how risks are evolving by country, by industry sector, and by type of risk. And basically we publish on a regular basis country risk studies, sector analysis, which we refresh continuously and make available for all of our clients. So you will hear from Julien about our view in the world. It's very interesting. There is risk, but there's a lot of business to be had, and I'm very thrilled to have had the opportunity of addressing you today. So thank you very much for your attention, and please enjoy this session.